Hi there. This week I am going to be talking about somewhere where I've actually got stuck. I've not done a video for a couple of weeks, and that's because I got stuck on a problem. And I've not actually figured out how to resolve it yet, which isn't brilliant, but I'm going to give you a little bit of details to what happened and what I am thinking of doing to resolve it, and I would appreciate any other comment or feedback that you guys have got. Most of the people that are following me in this channel are email marketers, so I've got a few ideas, but obviously if you've got anything else, then just let me know. So basically, as most of you guys know, I like to reduce the volume of emails that we're sending out and make the content of the emails more engaging. And in order to do that, I enrich that data with all sorts of different fields. I tested an email a couple of weeks ago, which was a campaign that was a text campaign, so it's conversational campaign, so it's not actually looking to sell anything, it's looking to create conversations. So you could say actually that it did work, but I'll come to this in a moment. Basically, what we had is a list of people with, I think there was about 6 fields on the file. We've got the link where I have found their email address, and it's an article online. We've also got the fact that I know what type of industry they are in, and I also know what type of technology they are running. Because of the type of technology that they're running, I have assumed that they are interested in 2 or 3 different products, or specific products, verticals. So my email was very, very relevant, and it said, I can see from your article on, and then the link, that you have got an interest in business to business, or whatever it was, and that that's why you're running this piece of technology, because I had looked at what technology these companies are running as well. If you'd like to have a conversation about the products and services that I can help you with, then let me know. And I sent the email out to 51 people, and I got 5 replies. And those replies, one of them was selling to me. Okay, put that to one side. 4 of them were no thanks, which is okay, but I would have liked a yeah, let's have a chat, or let's schedule a conversation, and I didn't get that. So let me just give you a little bit of, let me frame this, how I got to that volume of data, only 51 records. I started with a much larger file, and I've just done this for another client actually. I started with a file. This client was looking for companies that use Shopify, so I did a domain check and found 44,717 domains in the UK using Shopify. I then, from those domains, I was able to narrow it down to somewhere in the region of, in fact, I've sent an email out to this person explaining exactly what the results are. So 44,717 domains with Shopify was the starting point. And you think to yourself, oh wow, great, just send an email out to those 44,000, but it's only a domain, okay? What I then had to do was I had to get rid of certain companies that weren't in the client's vertical. So the client only wanted to focus on certain verticals, which removed about 70% of the data. So it left us with about 12,500 domains, because I can filter these domains by the technology, by the vertical that they're focused on. I then looked at how many of those companies are spending more than £500 a month on technology. That's quite interesting, because that means that they've got a budget to spend money on things. And this is important to the client I'm working with, that they have a budget to spend money on things. What we did notice is that a lot of companies using Shopify are spending nothing on technology whatsoever, really. And Shopify is also one of those kind of plug and play technologies. So I think you've got to be careful of sending out campaigns to companies that are not actually going to ever spend any money on anything, because obviously they could become a time drain. So that reduced it to 3,000 domains. So again, it took another 75% off the list. So we've now gone from 44,717. We've only done 2 things, and we're down to 3,000. We then looked at those companies that are only limited companies and sole traders. So I can take the domain and I can enhance it using Contact Enhance to find a company, a limited company name, registered number and address. And obviously, if we're using legitimate interest to reach out to these people, we can only target, because we're sending an email, we can only target limited companies, PLCs. We can't target non-corporates like sole traders. And we found there was a lot of sole traders using Shopify or unidentifiable corporates. So that reduced it to 491. So again, it lopped another 80% off. So we've gone from 44,000 down to 491. We then looked for one marketing contact within these 491 companies, and we found 174, which is quite good, 30, almost 40%. But again, it lopped another 60% off. So we're down to only 174 contacts. And then what's really interesting is that on the pages that we crawl and scrape, and the pages that we use, the tools that we use, sometimes it's not possible to identify a first name and a last name. You can only identify the email address. You know that it's a marketing person, but the only identifiable piece of information is the email, not the first name, last name. So we want to personalize our emails. Hi Duncan, hi Paul. So we have to get rid of any entries where there's no first name and last name that is an accurate match to the email address, and that reduced it to 74. So you've now gone from 44,000 down to 74 records, which is a very small amount of data. And the conversational campaign that we can run to them, however, should be very engaging. For example, I can see that you guys are using Shopify and that you've got a spend of more than $500 a month on technology. I'm just wondering whether or not you need any assistance with your marketing, and then put your, lay your stall out in terms of what it is that you do. Or you could go in with an email that says, just wanted to verify, just wanted to check you're still using Shopify in order to start a conversational campaign rather than just a sales campaign. What I found is that this is obviously the issue, is that the conversations that I started on the list that I did for myself, I did get those 5 conversations going. However, none of them were leads. And so there was a lot of work that went into doing this campaign, a super niche campaign, but there were no leads coming back in off it. And that's not obviously going to compete with doing mass email. If you send to 800,000 records or something, you're going to get leads in, and those leads you're going to be able to start converting. So there's always going to be this argument that, well, no, we should just send to a large volume of data. However, there are issues that come when sending to large volumes of data, and we all know what those issues are. Complaints and subscribes, reputation, all sorts of things. So I'm still very much focused on being very specific to a very niche audience. I do believe it's the way forwards. So therefore, my solution here is that I have got a sequence of emails. I'm already doing this, so it's not actually the solution to the problem. I'll come on to that. I do have a sequence of emails which will continue to tap away at those people that have not yet responded. Just, have you got my email? Did you? I think that I've got 7 emails in the sequence now. So that would hope. I saw this guy doing a conversational campaign. Was it a conversational campaign? Maybe it wasn't, but he was doing a campaign to me, and he had, I'm still getting them, and I think I'm probably about 20 emails into his sequence, and he sells video services. I can't remember the name of the company, I can't remember the name, but I do know that every now and again I do get an email in from him, and I have clicked through on a couple of his links to have a look at what he does. So he's getting pretty good at introducing the service to me. And so that's why I'm kind of going with this. One of the things, therefore, the solution that I've come up with is that you can't just have one, when you're doing these kinds of niche campaigns, you can't just have one sequence. of emails. You have to actually have 20 sequences. So that means that you have to have one sequence that is getting 5 replies but no leads, and then you have to duplicate that. You have to duplicate it 19 times or 9 times or whatever figure you want to do. So you're actually getting 50 to 100 conversations going from those people that you're talking to, and then you should be able. Then I'm hoping that I should be able to start getting closer to what I would refer to as a lead. But that requires a lot of work setting up those. But I've already created one campaign which I can duplicate, so it shouldn't be too bad. Where the work is involved is in the audience, and I need to have, I think, a minimum of 50 to get 5 conversations going. Don't forget, this is not a 10% open rate or a 10% click-through rate. This is a 10% response rate that I've had. The open rate, I think, is astronomical. If you've followed this, you'll already see what I've done in the past, where I've gone from a 3% open rate on a mass marketing campaign to these astronomical 60% open rates that I'm getting, and then these huge click-through rates and all this kind of stuff. And now I'm talking about actual responses. So it's 10% response rate I'm getting at the moment, but that's not a response as a lead. That's a response as a conversation, which is okay, because that person might come back to me in a few months' time looking for data help, and I can help them with that. So therefore, there needs to be a certain amount of work that goes on at a very specific level against the data, and that level of work, I guess, is where the time is going to go. So it may take. I could say that it could take a week to set up 20 campaigns. Not because of the campaign content, but because of the data that you're going to have to do, the work on the data. Who on earth in their right mind is ever going to do that? 20 lists of 50 people. That's a lot of work, isn't it? So what I think I am coming to with this is that it would be great if there was some kind of a solution that helped you to create it. But what I seem to be spending a lot of my time on at the moment is building these niche lists for my clients. So it means that you can outsource the work. So you pay someone else to do the work on the data, and then you spend your work creating the content. You could probably get it down to creating those 20 campaigns within a day if you were outsourcing that work. So obviously I do the work myself, so I can't take into consideration any of the outsourcing. But there is this person I'm working with at the moment where I've got down to 74 contacts, and I've sent those contacts through. It's important, if you're following this, that you need to do your privacy notification at the bottom, so a link through to your privacy policy on your website, and make sure that you're registered with the ICO as a data controller, data processor, etc. And also make sure that you put unsubscribes in there and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so that brings you guys up to speed on what I've been working on the last 2 or 3 weeks, and I will be hopefully coming back to you next week with a little bit more information on the results of these. I'll probably take it up to 10 campaigns, 10 sequences, not 20. Because of timing, and I'll maybe measure how long it takes me to do each one. Do stay tuned. There's other videos within this playlist that talk about the open rates. You can sort through those, and there is all sorts of videos available on the other stuff that I've touched on. With that, I will see you next week. Bye for now.